which has been investigating Russian attempts to sway American voters in the 2016 presidential election, are now drilling down on whether or not President Trump obstructed the Justice Department's attempts to investigate Russia and any contact between the Russians and the Trump campaign. And ABC News has an exclusive story this morning about that. And joining us this morning to talk about it is ABC News correspondent Aaron Katersky. Basically, what you guys are reporting is what they are trying to get their hands on right now, right?
That's right. Documents and emails and records that relate to two decision points that really speak to the question of whether the Trump administration tried to obstruct justice. One is the decision by Attorney General Jeff Sessions to recuse himself from all of these matters. And two was the decision to fire FBI Director James Comey. Look, we knew that was an area of exploration for the special counsel, but this request for documents by the Justice Department does, I think, show that that's where the special counsel is now squarely focused.
And I'm sure one of those things they're going to try and figure out is why Jeff Sessions made that decision. Was it just simply that, hey, this just doesn't look good for me to be involved? Or did he find out some specific information that helped him make that decision? Am I wrong?
Exactly, and he has refused to talk about it. In fact, when pressed by Congress just last month, Senator Dianne Feinstein asked, did the president mention the Russia investigation? Did he mention anything like that when he told you about firing Comey? And Sessions said, well, he wouldn't talk about it because it's a privileged and confidential conversation with the president. But he did mention that there are notes and documents, and that's what the special counsel is now trying to get its hands on.
The question is whether or not he fired Director Comey because he was not satisfied that the investigation was moving along quickly enough to exonerate him, the president that is, or if it was an attempt to, obstruct the investigation because he was afraid that there might be something that Comey would come across.
And there's an argument that that's what, brought about the special counsel investigation in the first place, a decision by the president himself. And so a case that really started with a question of Russian election interference has now, broadened well out to whether the president or anyone else in his administration tried to derail this federal probe.
We're talking with ABC News correspondent Aaron Katersky this morning about special counsel Robert Mueller's team's attempt to get their hands on some emails, other documents related to the firing of FBI Director James Comey and the decision of Attorney General Jeff Sessions to recuse himself from having anything to do with that investigation. Any word exactly what besides emails they're trying to get their hands on, Aaron?
I think anything that could, speak to those decision points, be it specific documents or letters, any electronic records, anything that would give them a window into what was said about the firing of Comey and why, what made Sessions decide to recuse himself without previously informing the president or other members of his administration, and whether that's in the form of who knows, text messages, whatever it is, if it's on a government computer or even not, I suppose the special counsel would like to see it.
How much can executive privilege play into all this? Are they going to be able to wrap themselves in that as previous administrations have?
Yeah, I think they can try, but here he's going after the Justice Department and reaching into the very department that's overseeing his own investigation. Mueller is, and they've also, we're told, reached out to former Justice Department officials to see what they may have known, and they certainly would not be covered by any privilege.
That's ABC's Aaron Katersky. It's 7:18 now at KTAR. And time to get outdoors with Mike Russell, brought to you by Bell Ford. Mike Russell gets outdoors in his Bell Ford. You should too. Bell Ford, one small step off I-17, one giant Ford store.
Well, here we are. It's the week of Thanksgiving. Or as those of us that weren't drawn, it's the week of how am I going to survive the in-laws? The anxiety of hearing the in-laws complain about an overdone turkey can buckle any man. Here's an idea that can get you pumped for this Thursday. First, think outside the menu box. Just because your grocery store shelves tell you that you have to serve turkey, stuffing, and cranberry, whatever that cranberry garbage is, doesn't mean you have to. Here's something you might not know. Turkey wasn't the staple in early turkey days. It was lobster. Lobster was so abundant in the East Coast that it was known as the poor man's chicken. So, toss the bird and try something different. How about serving some game meat? Elk or venison roast are great moves. And if you still have bird on the brain, we just wrapped up dove season and we're in quail season. You know what I mean? What a great way to share the harvest with your friends and family.